with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here in the shop today, and recently we picked up the 36-inch metal brake from Harbor Freight. We did an assembly video on that, but we have not done like any videos of me using it yet or anything like that. I did use it, and I used it at its full 36. And it bent it, no problem, but it didn't bend it crisp. So I've been looking at what I need to do to make some adjustments to it. So there are a couple different adjustments to it. So you have these adjustments here. You loosen this nut. There's another nut at the top. You loosen that one. And then you can spin this center shaft, and this adjusts how hard it clamps. So that nut, this nut, spin this rod, and it adjusts how hard it clamps. You have one on each side, and that is for thicker metals. So if you're just bending, sheet metal, mine was adjusted pretty well for just some sheet metal. But if you're going up a little on the thicker side, well, then you're going to need to adjust those so that you're not overstressing the machine when you're trying to clamp down thicker materials. Now, I have seen people like bend these rods. There's another bolt here, there's a bolt here, and they bend these. They get bent down, or this one gets bent up, and it's because they didn't adjust it for the thicker metal. They just shoved a piece of thicker metal in here and tried to clamp down on it, and yeah, it'll clamp down, but you're gonna put stress on those. I've seen people are putting extra supports so that you don't bend that stuff, but if you just adjust it properly when you're using it, then you won't bend those, and you won't need to adjust that. So then there is some adjustments here. We're probably going to go through these. If you look, this is crooked. This one's crooked this way. So this one's crooked this way. This one's crooked this way. So we need to loosen these, and we need to adjust that so that those are straight. That's adjusting this top plate. So there's adjustments here. You can tighten and loosen this, and that pushes down, up or down on this center part of this. So if you're looking at your line that goes all the way across, and you're not touching in the middle, well, then you can tighten this down and push this up. Or if you're going to clamp your sides, and your middle is hitting first, then you can loosen that up and straighten that out. So this is your adjustment for your top bar. This one here is your adjustment for how level this is. So like that one's a little too big. Drop my tissue. So I just got like a straight edge, and I'm looking across, and that looks pretty straight to me. So I don't think that we need to adjust this any. By looking at the way that this clamps, I do see a hair bit of what looks like a reflection right here, but I don't know if that is, oh yeah, that's like coming in from the back. So we could maybe adjust this guy down a little. It didn't seem to adjust our light too much. So this also has a textured coating on here. So that could just be, you know, what we're seeing the light through is we're seeing it through the texture. But my main issue that I am seeing, that I'm having here, is that when I look down through here, you know, we're a little tighter over here than we are through the rest of it. And so we can slip all the way through. We're starting to get tighter. You know, I can't slide over much more than that. But, you know, we are definitely not, this is not straight. So if I hold this here, across here, we're not even close to touching over there. You can see that there is a rock in this. This bar is not straight. So if you lift this guy up and you look under here, so there's an adjustment right there. But the problem is that we need this to go that way. And it is as far that way as it can go. So I loosen this nut up, and it pushed it out this way. So we need to go that way. There is no way to get that top bolt out of there. This bar is welded on. It's welded on there, it's welded on there. So there is no way to get that top bolt out without cutting something. So what I want to do is, let me get you guys on a stand somewhere. Stand's way over there. I'll be right back. So I'm gonna use a little strappy guy here. So since we can't get that nut out, I thought about like taking this bottom bolt out and then backing this top bolt out far enough to where it comes all the way to the bottom of the threads, and then trying to pry this bar down to knock that nut out. And I think that that'll just do more damage than good, because it is going to pull this plate even farther the other way that we don't want to go. So we either take this nut off and we cut our welds and we take this bar off so that we can take this nut out. Or what I'm thinking is that since I have this strapped up like this, we use our whiz wheel and we go in here and we cut that bolt. We'll have to cut, spin it, cut, spin it, cut, spin it, all the way around until we take, you know, the width of this blade off of that bolt. We don't want to cut all the way through because we'll cut through the threads and the stud that's welded to this. We just want to cut through the bolt and just take some of that bolt off so that we can tighten this bottom and clamp this tighter, pulling this bar down this way. So I just bought this thing, it's brand new. I'm not looking to cut this thing apart and start modifying it just yet. There are some modifications that we do need to do to this, and we are going to end up doing, but this one is one that I want to try and avoid cutting the machine apart. So let's go ahead and let's do that, and let's see if we can get a little more adjustment out of this without having to cut the machine apart. So like I said, I'm just gonna stick this in here. I'm gonna try and keep it flat against this bar, and we're gonna cut through the bolt or cut through the nut, not the bolt. So we'll be able to stop every so often and look. I should probably have my glasses on. I got safety glasses on. I should probably put my actual glasses on so that I can see what I'm doing. We will be able to look in here and see, like, if we're starting to get into the thread, then we know we've gone far enough. Okay, so you guys can kind of see what I did here. So these bolts were the same. You can see I pretty much cut that bolt in half. Very carefully, kind of doing some surgery here not to cut into the threads itself. We did hit the threads a little bit, but it's not really, we don't have to worry about the threads being able to thread, which they will be, but you know, my main thing is trying not to take strength away from that piece. That's why I didn't want to cut into it. But now we can tighten this guy up, and that bar will pull tighter now, because right there, like, it was stopping right there before. So now we can go a little farther, and we can undo, let's undo our strap here. So still looks like we're off a little. Don't mind my camera abilities here. So I'm just gonna tighten that up all the way. It doesn't seem like it did. Doesn't seem like it did a whole lot. Oh yeah, it's definitely, we definitely moved it. Remember, I could stick this thing in there. I cannot now. But it did not close up enough that I'm happy with it. You can see our bar is starting to bend reversed. So we are losing any pulling ability, which, I mean, I get it. Look how thick this bar is compared to this bar. Which one's going to give first? You know, we know our lower one's going to give first. But it did help, just not what I was hoping. So what are we going to do now? Do we cut some more of that bolt out? You know, when I was hoping to be able to just take that apart, I was going to remove that nut altogether. So, you know, let's, I'm going to cut that bolt again. And we may have to figure out a way to add some more brace back there. Okay, so we got enough out of it that we can actually adjust this and make it straight. So we're much straighter going across here now. We don't have that rock. Like before, we were able to rock this. And there is no rock now. So it looks like we could maybe loosen that up just a little bit more, but I'm gonna stop with it right there. Now that still did not fix what I am unhappy with, which is being able to, you know, you see I can slide this in here to about there. If you remember, I was able to bring it all the way over to here, which we can't anymore. But there's no adjustment here. So the only other thing that I could think of is just brute force and ignorance at this point. Which would be like, I would probably hold this up with a jack and then use a 2x4 or a 4x4 and a very heavy hammer and do a little adjusting there. To me, unfortunately, you know, it seems like this thing altogether needs to be like cut off here and here and moved back and then re-welded, because the gap that we have over here on this side is just not, you're not going to be able to correct that. Like there is almost no gap. I can barely even stick my fingernail in over here. But over here, you know, we can darn near stick this thing in there. So it is this whole thing is crooked out this way. Which, you know, we knew that these things weren't absolutely perfect. You know, there's this, you know, maybe we wouldn't cut it here. Maybe where this pin attaches into, you cut it there and you slide this whole thing back. But I think that is a story for another day. There are other modifications that I want to do to this thing that I think we will do all in one shot. For one, I want to tie the legs in together, front and back, giving us something to step on here. It's a common modification that everybody does. Like I said, maybe we'll do these adjustments up here real quick that I said everything is off. And then, you know, everybody's putting a brace underneath here to hold these things from moving. Which I think that we will be doing that. as well. So let's take a look at these. Like I said, both of these they're both crooked. I've seen other people are adding other braces back here to hold these from moving back and forth. I don't know that we'll be doing that. Okay, you guys shut off there, but didn't miss nothing. So so we loosened these two up and we straightened them out. This one was crooked this way, this one was crooked this way. It was like the whole top piece was just crooked. So now there's these washers that are on here, which obviously I believe that you need them. But if you look at this metal curves down, and it's not allowing us to go any further forward, or the bolt any further backwards, because we're hitting into this curve. So I used my rubber mallet and I hammered it that way as far as we could go on both sides. And I tightened those back up. And then I loosened up our center bolt that we were messing with underneath here. So I loosened that up, and we have a much straighter line going across here. I would say that we're virtually the same all the way to about here, and then it gets a little tight, and then it opens back up to being about the same as it is on this side. So it looks like there's maybe a little tweak in here, but can't really do much about that because there is no adjustment there. But what we did by loosening that up on both sides is we adjusted this whole blade forward, and we were able to tighten up this line. Now, my whole purpose with doing what we just did was to tighten up this line, because we were kind of tight on this side and we were kind of tight on this side, and then we were really loose in the middle. And when I bent my piece of metal, and like I said, I did the full 36, just some sheet metal, it bent it no problem, but it was tight bend here, and then it started to become a sloppy bend, and then it became tight again. And I needed a nice crisp tight line all the way across. And I ended up having to, after I made my bend, I ended up having to go back with a hand dolly and a hammer, and hammer and dolly my bend to crisp up that line, because I needed a crisp line all the way across. So, and that was part of the reason why I purchased this over, you know, we have our box brake, which I love. The thing works awesome. I'm so happy to have it. But if you're bending the full 30 inches on that, it's not always a consistent bend. And I've made videos before of how to adjust that to make it more consistent, and it works, making your adjustments. But once you make your adjustments, you got to put it back so that the rest of the machine works. And somebody did make a comment on there, and they made a great comment of saying to where I made my adjustments, go like one step further and adjust this here as well, and it should help with, I forget what his comment was, but it was a good comment. So if you're watching, you know, thank you for your comment. I've yet to address that situation any further, or take your advice into consideration. If we come across that, I will. But I bought this one so we could get that extra 6 inches out of it, and get a nice crisp bend. And we just weren't getting that straight out of the box, which, from everything that I know about this machine, each one's different. They're kind of thrown together. Sometimes stuff ain't tight, sometimes stuff needs to be adjusted out of the box. And this was our first little bit of adjustment that we did, and I'm happy with what we got done. We trimmed up that bolt, we made a couple of adjustments, we got our line pretty straight across. I think I'm much happier with that. You know, I don't have anything 36 inches that we need to bend right now. You know, so I can't really show you a full 36 inch bend, but what we can do here is, we were not having a good bend in the middle. So something moved, but you know, it still seems like there's a tight bend there, a loose bend there, but this whole thing moved. Yep, I can see it. Whole thing moved, and that's why people are putting braces so that those can't move. So that moved on us. Okay, so now that's what I'm saying. Like, so people are they're making, like, taking a piece of L bracket here, and they're putting it down. They're welding their L bracket to this. They're drilling a hole through this and bolting it to that L bracket so that this can't move. And it's not just relying on one bolt. It's relying on both bolts. You know, I don't see, you know, any reason to have to remove those. I don't know, maybe what we'll do is we'll take a piece of angle bracket, we'll weld it to this and then bolt it to this. And then that way, all we gotta do is just drill a hole through this. This is much easier to drill a hole through than it is there. And you'll have more room here. So maybe we'll do that so that can't move anymore. Because that moved instantly. As soon as I tried to pull up on it, it moved. So alright. Well, let me address the situation and we'll be right back. Okay, so what we learned today was these things are not perfect out of the box. I think most people know that. Hopefully, if you're looking to buy one of these now, after maybe watching my video, you know that they're not perfect out of the box, and there are adjustments that need to be made. We made those adjustments today. I'm happy with the adjustments that we made. I was able to do, excuse me. Excuse me. So I was able to make several bends. You know, our first bend, it moved as soon as I went to bend it. I readjusted it, I cranked that bolt tighter, and then I was able to make a few more bends on that piece of metal off camera. Sorry, you guys didn't miss nothing. But we were able to make some bends off camera, and I just showed you that, and it's nice crisp bends now. We don't have you know, where it's a tight bend on one side and loose on the other. This top bend right here is our first bend where it moved. So you can see that it's a crisper, you can see it got bent in the machine trying to bend more stuff. But it's a crisper bend here than it is on that side. We made that, it slipped, we tightened that bolt up, readjusted it. And then I made a couple more bends in it, and they are the same bends on both sides, which is what I was looking for. So we accomplished our goal. I do think that we need to take some angle iron back here, and I think what we're gonna do is we'll cut a piece of angle iron that matches this guy, and we'll weld it along this, and then it'll bolt to this, and that will keep this from moving or sliding on us, because one bolt is just not enough. And watching other YouTube videos, if you guys have watched any other videos on this, that is a modification that everybody is doing. So we are going to do that. I looked through my scrap pile for angle iron. I have some here, but it's on the smaller side. It's like 1 inch by 1 inch or 1.5 by 1.5. And we are going to be going up to the metal supply store here in the next month or two, because I need metal for our project in the back there. So I'm going to pick up some angle iron while we're there, and we are going to we'll do that then, and then I think we're going to use the angle iron to also connect the 4 legs together. That'll give you somewhere to stand here instead of having to bolt this thing to the ground. You can stand on it. So we'll be doing that. And then, like I said, I think you know, what other people are suggesting is that you put, you know, a piece of angle iron here so that this piece can't move. I don't see why that would move, but that's what everybody is doing. I guess it's bending the metal. So they're doing that. So we may do that one too. But other than that, I'm much happier with the way this thing is working, just with spending, you know, an hour making a couple of adjustments on it. I think we got it pretty good, and I'm much happier with it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Okay, one more quick thing with this. So I moved it back to where I have it sitting, staying, whatnot. And when I moved it back, our line here that goes all the way across totally tightened up and disappeared. And I had to pick up and let the legs settle, and pick up and let the legs settle, and then that gap opened back up. So if you're gonna bolt this thing to the floor, or you're gonna put those braces in, like, make sure that that thing is square and that your gap is nice before you do any of that, because me just moving this thing back to where it was totally messed with our adjustments up on the top. Remember, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and there's a hype button down below somewhere now. I think it's over near the comment section. If you guys could hit that hype button, I guess that is a big, huge help for people like me. So if you could do that, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.
Oh,